Has the sari ever intrigued you? That beautiful, colourful, traditional costume worn by the women of India. How did it originate? Are there different designs for different regions? What colour is a wedding sari? Is it okay for a Westerner to wear one? We'll answer all these questions and more when we come back. Stay tuned.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program by and for seniors and devoted to exploring the many facets of those better years of our lives. The name of our program was inspired by a quotation from Robert Browning. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Now, sit back and enjoy a program made especially to provide seniors with useful information, plus some lighter moments to brighten your day.
The sari, the traditional costume of India. I'm Val Jeffrey. My guest is Hema Kundagi, a very familiar face on community access television. She's won many awards for her Indian cooking show, which she tapes at her own home, and you can almost smell the delicious food waft through the TV screen as she cooks it. During her many shows, she's worn an array of beautiful saris, and that's the subject of our program today. We're going to learn all there is to know about the sari. But first, let's find out how you drape a sari. Please welcome Hema Kundagi.
Hello.
I am so excited that you're going to drape me in this sari, but it kind of looks complicated, is it?
Well, it's not at all complicated. Let me show it to you.
Okay.
Tuck it in here. Basically, sari is 6 yards of unstitched fabric. There are 3 parts to the sari. There's one which is, this is what I'm putting is the body of the sari. And then this other end is known as the pallu. Now pallu usually has a lot of design and embroidery on it. This is the part which hangs loose. Okay, and now this is the part which you make pleats into, and this is just a flick of the wrist. Now this sari is a sari which is one size fits all, so you don't have to have a sari for different people. Anyone can wear anyone's sari. That's it. As simple as that.
Now, I'm wearing pants, but what would you normally wear under a sari?
It would be a skirt, and the skirt has a thread, a thick thread which goes around. You cannot have something with elastic because the weight of the sari will bring the whole thing down. So you have to have a thick thread.
Right, and how much fabric was there? No wonder there's a lot of weight.
It depends from sari to sari, but it's usually 6 yards of fabric.
Okay.
And there are some which are 9 yards too.
Oh, okay. So can I buy my fabric locally, or do we have to send to India for it?
You can buy locally, thanks to many stores which are here in the Bay Area, but you can buy it in India too if you want.
And what would be the rough cost?
It really varies. It can go from anywhere from $30 up to $2,000.
And can you wash the fabric, or do you always have to dry clean it?
Depends on the fabric. If it's like cotton, if it's nylon, if it's chiffon, you can wash it at home. But if it's silk, it is preferred that you dry clean it.
Okay, now you were talking about the tuck on me. Is there just one tuck, or is there a choice of tucks?
There's just one tuck.
Just one tuck, okay. And how safe is it for me to run for the bus with this one tuck?
Well, you can run a marathon if you want. It is quite safe. That's why we don't have the elastic. It's a tight thread which is tied.
And do you always dress in a sari? You always look so beautiful in it.
Well, as the saying goes, when in Rome, dress like a Roman, so.
Okay, so you look good in jeans too. Okay, now I'm fully dressed. We're going to sit down and we're going to find out some more about the sari when we come back. Hema, thank you for draping me in this beautiful sari. Tell us a little bit about the history of the sari.
Well, sari has been around for about 5,000 years, and there have been many, many legends about how sari first started. But I knew you would ask this question, and I have found this very interesting poem, which I think I'm going to read it for you.
Good.
Sari was born on the looms of a weaver. He dreamt about women, the shimmer of the tears, the drape of the tumbling long hair, the color of the many moods, the soft touch, and he kept weaving yards and yards and yards of fabric. As he finished, he smiled, smiled, and smiled, and that's how we got 6 yards of unstitched fabric. In India, there's a lot of importance placed on unstitched fabric. It's considered to be pure.
So the design of it, why this design?
It can be any design. It all depends on the weaver. Sometimes it can be geometric designs, sometimes it can be designs from nature like flowers or animals or birds. So it can be any design, depends on what's in style.
And you asked me today to wear either a white or a black top. Was that for a specific reason?
Well, typically the blouse is a part of the sari, and it can be exact matching. If it is not exact matching, then my grandma especially, she would wear only black and white blouses with her sari because she didn't want to be bothered with the exact matching. So I thought, since you're a grandma, maybe you should wear white.
Very appropriate, thank you. And you're wearing a blouse, of course, but is there just one style of blouse, or can you choose your own style? How does that work?
There are many styles of the blouses. This traditional blouse style is always in fashion. Fashion changes over the years. Currently, this fashion of short sleeves is in style, whereas 3 years ago, this style was in fashion. A decade ago, the blouse style was full sleeves. Archana has added her personal touch to the blouse. Anrupa has designed her blouse, which is a blend of East and West. This can be worn as a formal evening wear too.
How do you coordinate the blouse color with the sari? Do you pick out a specific color?
Typically, it's for expensive saris, it's stitched along with the sari, so you have the exact same color. But if it was for my day-to-day sari, I would just pick one color from the sari, and it's usually made in cotton, because cotton is much more suitable for the Indian weather.
So the blouse is actually stitched to the sari?
It is not attached. It's separate.
Not attached?
It's separate.
Okay. And how many different draping styles are there? What's this draping style that you've done on me?
This is the very normal, regular draping style known as Navy style, but there are different styles in different parts of the country. Anagha is demonstrating the traditional draping style of 9 yards of fabric, which is worn in the western part of India, Maharashtra. This sari is more like a pant and requires no petticoat like a normal sari would. Nirmal is showcasing the Kurg's draping style of sari from South India. Here, the pleats are on the rear and the pallu is pinned on to the right shoulder of the blouse. This is a typical draping style of the Parsi community who have settled mainly in Mumbai or Bombay. Here, the pallu is draped in front instead of behind, and it showcases the intricate work on the pallu. In the southern state of Tamil Nadu, 9 yards of fabric is often draped for weddings and religious functions. Each community have their own style. Uma here shows the Iyer style of draping the 9 yards of fabric. Padma demonstrates the Iyengar style of draping of 9 yards of fabric. This style too does not need a petticoat. Monima here shows from the northeastern part of India, Assam. This sari is typically in 2 parts and is called as Mekhla Chador. The number of pleats are fewer than the pleats for a normal sari. Rosemary showcases the typical sari from Kerala. This too is in 2-part sari instead of 6 yards of fabric. White with gold is a very typical sari which is worn in Kerala for religious occasions and weddings. Champa is showing the Bengali style where there are no pleats but wrapped around loosely in a very stylish way. Gayatri is draped in the Gujarati style of sari from West India. Here again, the pallu is draped in front instead of hanging loose behind. This shows the intricate work of the pallu.
So different parts of India have different draping styles.
That's right.
Is there, is the fabric a personal choice, or is there some significance to the color?
Well, there are 2 parts to your question. The fabric, it depends on where you're wearing it. If you're wearing it for day-to-day, you would wear cotton or maybe some easy wash and wear saris. But for special occasions, you have special saris. The color depends from a person's choice. But some years ago, maybe about 50 years ago, the color was dominated by your age. You know, elderly women wore only light blue and dull grayish colors, and the red and yellow, the bright colors, were reserved for the young, and the widow always wore white. So it depends, but all those customs and traditions have gone, so I'm happy because I can wear whichever color I want.
So the widows were white as opposed to black in most other countries.
Right. In India, it's white that they wear.
Yeah. And on the special saris that you were talking about, do you ever hand embroider anything, or is everything done by machine, or what?
Well, lately there are a lot of machine-made saris, but even now we treasure hand embroidery and special woven saris. So there's a lot of emphasis, and you do pay a bundle for those, but people for special occasion prefer hand woven special saris.
Right. And I notice, especially on this sari here, there's an animal on it. Is there any significance to the animals?
Well, there's not much significance. It's just like you bring in nature into the sari. So sometimes you have parrots, sometimes you have peacocks, sometimes elephants. So it's just a style. There's not much significance. It's just a part of nature, and so they depict what's there.
Right. What about the gold in it? There's quite a bit of gold.
Yes, there is a lot of gold in special saris which are worn for weddings. And when you say there's gold, it's basically gold is pounded thin, and it's made into thin threads. And those threads are then woven into the sari. So that is actual gold in the sari.
Wow. So is there a sari fit for royalty? Can you do one for the Queen, do you think, maybe?
Well, I don't know if the Queen will wear it, but in India, the royal people preferred a couple of saris which are here, and they are still in style. Everybody likes to feel royal, don't they?
Yes, they certainly do. And I'm going to ask a silly question now. Is there such a thing as a ready-made sari?
You know, till about 5-6 years ago, there was nothing as ready-made sari, but looks like there's a lot of demand. And yes, indeed, there is ready-made sari, and it is, but it is not one size fits all. It is one size which is tailored and then made into a sari. So you have to stay the same size if you want to get into that sari, versus this sari, which even if you put on weight, you can just go ahead and wear the sari. And it is put on like a little skirt, and you just have a hook to put it on.
That's really good. What about jewelry? I'm wearing just a plain gold band. Is that appropriate for what I'm wearing?
Typically with sari, you have something in your neck, some chain, some earrings, some little bangle or something, and a ring. It goes with the whole dress. So yes, jewelry is sort of required for a sari.
The necklace you're wearing is kind of gold and black, and I see that a lot on Indian women. Is there any significance to the black and gold?
Yes, this black beads means I'm a married woman, just as you have the ring in your left hand finger. The same thing for married women in India wear black beads with gold or silver or diamond or whatever, but there's black beads.
So I need to get black beads?
Yes.
Okay. And you have a nice stone in your nose, and also Indian women wear the red dot on their forehead. Can you change the shape of that and the color to match your sari, or is that a no-no?
Yes, you can change the shape, you can change the color, and sometimes, some years ago, it was a big, you know, little spot on your forehead. Now it's very delicate. And well, as per my nose ring, that was in style when I was maybe in 5th grade, and my mother didn't want me to, but I did it, and it's still there. That's a style which has been there for ages, so it was considered ancient style. My mother doesn't have it, but I do.
I'm wondering, when Indian women first wear a sari, when did you first wear your first sari?
I think I wore my sari, it was the last day of school. We had a special function, and we all had to wear a sari. And till then we were all wearing skirts and jeans and pants, and for that occasion we had to wear a sari, and I still remember that day. It wasn't comfortable at first, but later on we got used to it.
But that's why you decided to wear it for that?
Yes, yes.
Do young boys and men ever wear saris?
Well, there are no saris for men, but there's something called as dhoti, which is sort of like waist below, and it is a long fabric, unstitched fabric. But these days, people prefer to wear pants and dockers and, you know, jeans, and so you don't see that anymore. It's only worn for very religious functions.
What about the workplace? Say a lawyer or a doctor. Do they ever wear a sari to work, and what's appropriate for that?
Yes, in fact, professional ladies in India always prefer a sari because it gives a very dignified look. But there's certain conditions about wearing the saris. You always wear subdued, and you know, doesn't have gold. It is not flashy. Mm-hmm. It's worn in a very non-nonsensical way, if you understand what I mean.
And the wedding sari must be completely different too. Can you describe that for us?
Yes, wedding saris are a category by itself. There's lots and lots of gold woven into the saris, and each region of India has different wedding saris preference. Red color is very popular in wedding saris. In South, Kanchivaram is very typically worn. In the western part, white and red is typically worn for wedding. In the eastern region, heavy brocade silk called as Banarasi is worn by many. Many talented girls these days design their own saris, and instead of the traditional silk, lace fabric is used to wear for the wedding.
After a wedding, normally in America, they dry clean their wedding dress and they pack it away and keep it. Is this so with the sari, or is there a different use for it?
Well, the wedding sari, after you wear it for the wedding day, you dry clean it, but it can be worn for any other relative's wedding, because it's not something that, like what we have here, the white dress is only worn by the bride and nobody
Right.
else can wear something that way. In India, everybody can, you know, for a close relative's wedding, everybody can be there in their wedding saris, and it's perfectly acceptable. And sometimes, you know, some moms also make little gowns, little skirts of the wedding saris for their little daughters. So that's another thing that's there.
What did you do with your wedding sari?
I've kept it nice and clean.
Have you? Okay. Now, on your cooking shows, you wear an array of beautiful colourless saris. And I notice you don't wear an apron, and I'd be so afraid of messing them up and not being able to clean all the splatters off. Is there such a thing as an apron to wear over a sari?
Yes, there is an apron, but I prefer to show my nice saris. The apron will just cover my saris. And I found out if you wear nice clothes and if you take extra precaution, nothing will splatter. And knock wood, so far I haven't splattered anything. 27 shows and I haven't splattered anything on my sari.
Well, let's hope I haven't put the mockers on that right now. And Hime, you presented a sensational sari show at the Cupertino Library a while back.
Hi there. I hope you're going to be there today. I'm working. Okay.
Hi there. Have you done any other local sari shows?
Well, I would like to go that way, but as of now, have a lot of friends in Cupertino who always were fascinated by saris, and I said, I have so many friends who are passionate about the saris, so I got all my friends and we modeled and in our saris, and the response was pretty good. And if I get a request for some other place, I think I and my friends are more than willing to go and have the sari show there.
Okay, well, they heard it here first. You have saris and you're willing to travel,
Yes.
right? Good, thank you. So you don't mind if it's just in this area or out of this area a little bit further?
Well, that's something which I have to think about, but I'll decide when the occasion comes.
Well, Hema, thank you so much for draping me in this beautiful sari. I feel really special when I'm wearing it, very feminine, and you've been such a great guest. And now when I watch your cooking shows, I'm going to take note of your saris from a much different perspective. And I thank you for coming.
It's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
We hope that you've enjoyed watching. Got any comments, suggestions, or would you like to be part of our crew? To find out more, through the Cupertino Senior Center. Goodbye and see you next time on The Better Part.